name is Lorraine Garvey of District 32, and I'm having a great conversation today with Mike Johnson of Evolve. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
You're doing great and exhausted after a full-on
I
Melbourne
have
trip. Yeah.
I have exhausted. I have done 27 back-to-back 1 hour strategy sessions with business owners over the course of
Wow,
2.5 days.
that is phenomenal. I can't imagine how exhausting that sounds and it can be, but that's what happens when you must be good at what you do, right? When everybody wants a piece of you.
I hope that's
Yeah.
because I'm good at what I do. I don't think it's my looks. So I'm gonna go with it's my talent. Yeah.
Come on, you got to go with both there, Mike, right? It's the whole appeal, right? So, Mike, you are going to speak this week, in fact, at a District 32 Business Maximizer event, and you're sharing with us how to evolve your business so that we can get maximum profit, impact, and growth. And I'm really, really excited about it. But before we get to that, Mike, what is Evolve? What do you do? Why do you do it?
Look, Evolve is my attempt to kind of change the game when it comes to business coaching, right? I've kind of been in business my whole life. My dad was a small business owner. He had 5 different businesses that I recall growing up. None of them worked. Like not one ever was successful. I had a what I call my sports dad, and he owned the local sporting goods shop, and he used to come to all my games. And he did well, even though he's like a poor business owner, up until the big box store came to town. And then he ran out of his business went out as well. And so when I saw 2020 hit and I saw people making mistakes in their business again, I was like, I'm going to take a crack at this again, but it can't be business coaching. It can't. What we got to do is we got to do very similar to what you do. We got to support the business owner by putting them at the center of a community. And that's really what Evolve is a community where they learn, they can meet each other, they can help each other. And of course, I can kind of guide using frameworks and understandings and philosophies.
Beautiful. So you are providing the framework community to help business owners grow, pretty much, but also
100%.
injecting all your knowledge, wisdom, experience, and its whole host of businesses in every industry to stop them from preventing the mistakes that you've already seen, right?
Well, and that's just it. I think what people do is they see the growth side of things, but making a financial mistake often outweighs a whole bunch of things you could do around growth. Like you think about the financial losses you have in your life, they far outweigh the sales successes you've had in your life. So it's helping people move towards one and navigate past the other. So and it's helping them understand. I think most business owners are trying to solve a problem they haven't got, because they're solving the problem they know. And generally they're okay at that. And there's 5 other areas in a business, which is, what we want to kind of talk about. Most people only get 1/5 of the puzzle. And it's helping them understand what they don't understand. It's like a driver. You want to know where your blind spots are, because in business, it can hurt you.
It can. It certainly can. So, Mike, is that what you're going to be talking to us about at the Maximizer event? Are you going to talking about some of those 5 areas?
Yeah, look, the 5 areas came from, so I got into business trying to prepare myself for my dad to ask me for help. That's really what I did. I started learning about business because I really just wanted my dad one day to ask me for help, because I thought if he could ask me for help, I could maybe help, and then mom and dad would stop fighting. And then, it got to a point where I saw other business owners like my sports dad, and I was like, I'll really learn this marketing thing, and maybe he'll ask me for help. And, when my dad never asked me for help, and my sports dad lost his business and his life as a result, and never asked me for help. And I spent my whole life going into business, and the deeper I went into business, I went down the MBA route, and the more I went in, the MBA was like 4 years and 32 subjects, and you just get overwhelmed, especially when you're kind of the solopreneur and you're that person that's working in the business and on the business and around the business and for the business, and you get super overwhelmed. And so I was looking for a way that I could kind of chunk it down, not perfectly, but kind of get it down into something that I could manage. And I started to see that there was a sequence. There was like 5 types of things you had to focus on. There was a million ways to do them, but there's like 5 things that really did matter in your business. And if you could get those 5 things right, you kind of had a recipe. and you could build different cakes because you knew the recipe. And it's like, so that's really what I want to share, is what those 5 things are, what is the sequence of them, and maybe give a few examples of what they might look like for different types of businesses.
Okay, that sounds very exciting, very appealing. So, I think you've answered some of this already, but, why is it essential that business owners get this oversight? Imagine you've got people in business for 1 year, you get people in business for 5 years, people in business for 10 plus years, why is it important that they come along and hear this information now?
The reason I see, there's a couple of reasons, right? So the main one is, I'm going to talk about small business owners, right? So those people that are between, say, 50 and 2 million, they already work hard, right? And they're generally not doing it for themselves. They're generally doing it for families. They're doing it for their kids. Maybe they're doing it because they've got this thing that they want to bring to the world, but they're generally not doing it for themselves in big bucks. In fact, a lot of them live in poverty because of the second reason I'll give you, but they're working really, really hard. And what happens is they know certain things about their business. So most businesses, if I got them to identify the 5 things, they could name 3. They'd absolutely name 3, no problem. But they're probably good at 1. And what happens is when the business starts to suffer, they'll double down their efforts on that one thing they really know well, right? And they'll just go harder at it with their time, and it costs them their family, and it costs them time with their kids, and it costs them other things that are actually really important. But they can't let go of the business either, because the business is kind of supporting them at the same time. So it'll cost them what's important. And sometimes, like I said, it's somewhere else. There's an easier solution somewhere else in the puzzle, and they just don't know how to see it. And so that's the number one reason people should come along is, it'll help them figure out the problem they have a lot quicker, so that they can figure out the exact things they need to do and when they need to do them. The second side is sometimes if it's an area you're not strong at, then what you do is you double down on your resources. So marketing is a clear one. Like most business owners will say, I really don't understand marketing nowadays. And what'll happen is when the ads stop working, or when the Facebook posts stop working, or when the networking stops working, or whatever it is for them, what they'll do is they'll double down on the efforts, and they'll start spending more money. And then they end up in what we call entrepreneurial poverty, where they're having to pay for their employees and they're trying to take care of everybody around them, but they themselves have no money. And it's a really hard thing because they're taking all the risk as it is, and then they don't have the money. And it's not that the business is suffering. It's not that it's a bad idea. It's not that even what they're doing is wrong or the clients don't like them. It literally is just the fact that they're trying to solve the wrong part of the puzzle. And I mean, there is a stat out there that people can look up if they want, but it's 62% of businesses, when they finally close their doors, have more debt than they ever had dollars.
Wow.
And that's a legacy to leave when you walk out of business. And
wow.
it's crazy. Like, it's nuts. And I want it. That's like, I'm glad you're with me, because if you're in business or you support business, that's wrong. It's just wrong. We shouldn't do that to somebody that employs people. We shouldn't do that to somebody that takes it on there and runs the economy of Australia. That should not be the result. And I'm getting a bit worked up, but that's the truth. That's why I built this framework.
I think it's an emotional journey, right? It's an emotional journey for business owners. It really is. They put everything on the line, and I can hear your emotion coming through. Which is why people are going to relate to you and relate to the topic, right? Because we've all felt it. We've all been there.
Yeah, and they really do. And their moms and their dads and their husbands and their wives and their brothers and their sisters and their best mates, right? That's who they actually are. And we look at business people as, oh, they take a risk, they get the reward, it's okay. Like, if I gave some of the survival statistics around businesses, like the 97% failure rate, and the fact that 74.5% of businesses earn $200,000 a year or less. 25%, 1 in 4 businesses never earn $1.
Wow.
Right. When you look at, like, if I were talking about our kids' education, there would literally be rioting on the streets, right? If we were talking about the survival rate of koalas and I was giving those statistics, there would be fundraising across the land.
Yeah.
But when we talk about business, it's like nobody cares. And I care, right? That's why I do what I do.
Mike, thank you very much for sharing your passion. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us, not only today, but for the Maximiser on Thursday. I'm massively excited myself to hear your talk. And I'm sure that the District 32 Business Network is as well. You're an amazing man, amazing coach, and we look forward to hearing you on Thursday, 1 p.m. at the Telethon Speech and Hearing Centre. Mike, thank you very much. I'll see you Thursday.
Thank you.
Bye.